I want to go back to the phone lines and talk next to Jessica. She's listening in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Hi, Jessica.
Hi, Hank. How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
Thank you so much for taking my call.
You're welcome.
It's a great pleasure to talk to you. The one thing that I've really struggled with since becoming a mother and having a couple of kids, the age of accountability. I would like your take on that.
Yeah, well, I think first I have to admit that the Bible is silent on this issue. In other words, it doesn't speak directly. It speaks in terms of implication, but not directly to the subject. So I think that we're on safest grounds to always go back to the nature of God that is revealed in the Scriptures. He has told us enough about himself so that we can trust him. And thus, for example, when we had a preborn baby Grace that died, we had absolute assurance that one day we will see her in eternity. And that assurance comes from the nature of God himself. God is not seeking to place obstacles in the path of people. He's not trying to catch people on technicalities, but rather he loves the world and doesn't desire that any would perish. And such trust in God allows me to leave our preborn baby in the hands of an infinitely just and infinitely merciful God. I also think, by means of theological deduction, that it's not the absence of truth that damns ultimately, it's the despising of truth that damns. And so my thought is that those who are under the age of accountability will have a relationship with God for time and for eternity. David might be the quintessential example as Israel's quintessential king. Had a child that died and was certain that one day he would be reunited with that child in the presence of God. But theological structures have different ways of answering this. Just to clarify, I mean, there are some that say that God chooses on the basis of his own predilection and purpose. Others say that God, through his foreknowledge, looks down the quarter of time and sees what people will do and chooses them on that basis. So there are different answers that different theological structures give, but for my part, I depend on the nature of God as revealed in the Scripture, and therein I put my hope.
Thank you. That was very helpful. I really appreciate it.